Let's make sure you guys are all muted real quick. All right, good morning, y'all. Good morning. So just again, make sure you have your box. And then let's get started. We're going to start just with kind of standing tall. Just giving yourself the opportunity to just kind of check in with your footprint, with how your hips start out, your shoulders, your back, and a couple of deep breaths. Just kind of, if you want to, close your eyes. Notice if you're clenching or if you're just standing easy. Notice if you have length in your spine or you feel like you're rounded in any one part. And then just lift up your toes and just notice how the space between your toes opens up, your arch opens up, and even your inner thigh responds to that movement. And then slowly let your arms come up and overhead. Toes are still lifted. Reach those arms nice and high. And then exhale, lower your chest, lower your toes. And again, this time just circle your arms up, toes stay down. And then exhale, lower your hands back down. And once more, take your arms up and overhead reach. And then exhale down. So I want you to take your arms down by your sides and I want you to kind of give them a nice tight grip so that your shoulders aren't moving. I want you to move, we're going to move our neck, and then we're going to move our torso, and then we're going to move our hips and our knees and our ankles. So you're getting stability at the same time as mobility, but focusing in on the one movement that's happening very specifically. Nothing that has to be overly tight, just kind of develop some strength here in your arms. And then we're going to just drop the chin towards the sternum and then bring the chin up. So the shoulders don't shrug. Chin, drop your chin, breathing as best you can. And then you're going to drop the chin down, left ear to left shoulder, roll the head, right ear to right shoulder, and around. So you may feel more clicky-cracky while you over-stabilize your shoulders because you don't get to move parts that you normally would move if your shoulders move. So this is, if you're having extra clicking, and kind of an idea that you have more stiffness possibly in your neck than you think. And then pause, back to center. Let's go the other direction. Roll up and down and around. And then one more time, all the way around. Good. Roll your shoulders up, back, and around. Just kind of feel that motion. And notice if one direction is, make note if one direction or not another gave more impact, like you felt more clicking up in the upper part of the neck or anything like that. That was a sign that you're real stuck in that area. And with the shoulders pulled down and stabilized, you actually got more true mobility in your neck. So from there, let's bring our arms into our chest and you're going to roll around. So you're going to squeeze your glutes tight. Everything's packed in and only your upper body is moving. Roll around. And don't worry about going so far back. Just find that range that you can go. Watch that you're not spinning your hips instead. And just roll. You might find some catching in one of your ribs. And then let's go the other direction. Pause, relax for a second. Again, pull those elbows to your rib cage. And let's go the other direction. Pull around. You may have more flexion on this side than the other, or more rotation to your right or left. Breathe. 2 more. And the last one. Good, hold, and just kind of relax that. Notice what's going on there. Maybe you feel tighter, lifting or tilting to one side. So from your back, go ahead and place your hands on your feet. Pack your shoulders in and just move your pelvis. Tuck the tailbone and lift the tailbone. So kind of a very half cat-cow. No flexion, no rounding in the upper back. Two more, just like this. And then last one. We're going to walk all the way down. Bring your hands to the ground. And you're going to do it again on the ground. So I want you to keep the rib cage tight and just move your pelvis. Let those arms press into the ground to stabilize your shoulders so nothing else is moving. And then we're going to do just kind of a roll around. It was a slightly awkward, so if you're in a group of people, it's just a little bit weirder movement. And then let's go the other direction. It's kind of like you're stirring underneath and lifting up. One more time, all the way around. Good. Point those toes back, and let's just stretch those arms out to a nice long child's pose. Breathe. Slide your elbows under. Widen out your knees if you can. And then take your right hand to your right hip pocket, and then roll up. So opening up that thoracic spine, and then drop back down. And again, inhale. Open up, look over your shoulder if you can, and then back. Head is really right from this position. You can look with your eyes, and again, open up, and then back. One more time, open up, and then back. And let's do the other side, taking your other hand behind your back, hooking your hand as far around your back as you can, open up, and then back. Open and back down. 2 more times. Open and down. Breathing. Open and down. Last time. Look up. Rotate up and back. Good. Stretch your back out into that child pose with the underside of your shoulder blades. And then pull yourself forward into all fours. And then let's do it again. And now a real nice cat-cow. Inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Exhale, pull the belly and grab the back shin to the sternum. Inhale, lift the tail, lift the chest. Exhale, round the back. 2 more. Inhale up and exhale down. And then last one. Inhale up, hold. Sit your hips back towards your heels, and let's get into downward. Nice little downward facing dog. Nice bent knees, nice extended arms. Now, always on a modest line, you always have the knees down. It's a real modified downward facing dog. Always, if there's issues with your arms or your hands, you can do a downward facing dog here. There is difficulty that way as well. But give yourself the opportunity to not be kind of held in just by what I'm doing. But listening to your body, figuring out where you are at right now. And then let's walk your feet about half the distance to your hands. Drop your hips in. And then let's do a little bit of some hip mobility. So pulling the knees away from center. And then drawing the knees back through the midline. Opening those knees. Creating that nice space. Inner thigh, lower back. Rolling around. 2 more. And last one. And then let's do the other direction. Drop towards the wrist. Pull away. And then back in. and rest. Good. Let's move those feet out from under us. Bring your feet forward. Bring your hands out in front and lower yourself all the way back into the mat. And line it up with it, right? Let's reset. Grab one of your blocks. And you're going to place that block underneath your hips. If you have a roller or another type of bolster, you're more than welcome to use that. This is just a nice even platform to hold those hips out. Extend your right leg out. Get long, feel that length through your entire right side, and then your left arm overhead. Remember, we're designed in an X. That's not to say we should also stretch the same sides, but the movement pattern is across the midline of the body. Reach, get long, push through your heel. Remember, there's a difference between point and flex. Point would be pointing away from the midline of the body, you pick your big toe. Flex would be drawing the big toe towards the midline of the body, almost like when you stand. And then reach through that left arm. Reach through that right heel. Feel this opening right through the middle of the body, right kind of where the thigh meets the pelvis, meets the belly. And then lower the top arm. Slide the right leg in. Just settle for a moment because your legs might feel off a little bit. Extend that left leg out, push into the left heel. Right arm is overhead. And again, you're reaching those two directions. A lot of times what I like to do is put my hand on my leg and kind of encourage the two lines of motion, lengthening. And even though it's not doing like specifically anything, there is this intentionality to the direction that I want to stretch in. I want to lengthen the top arm. I want to reach through the bottom leg without distorting my hip. I just want my leg to get long. I'm not trying to reach my hip out. I'm extending my leg out. Big deep breath, inhale and exhale. Lower your hand down, bring your left knee in, and let's lift those hips up. And just again, now settle back into the ground. You can give a little tuck and tilt. This kind of helps to reset the spine so it doesn't feel like it's still up. Good. And then just go ahead and place the block by your side. Bring the right knee in only. Hug that right knee in, close to the chest. Breathe as you press the belly towards the thigh. Extend the right leg up. Breathe and sink the right hip down. Think of pulling the tailbone away from that heel and push that heel away like you're flexing the foot again. Breathing. You can let go of your hands and see if you can still hold that leg up in the same position. Keep lengthening. Use the energy, that tensegrity of the muscle, to pull the heel up and still sink the hip down. And then bend the right knee. And then let's do the left side. So bring the left knee into the chest, the right knee bent, or extend the right leg. Remember, when the legs get extended, it's going to pull against the lower back slightly, which is neither a problem or not a problem. It just is a different position. Pull the knee into the chest. Breathing. Breathe as you put pressure into the belly against that left side. And then again, extend that left leg. Thinking of the length of that left leg in those two directions. Push that left heel up. Sink that left hip down. Hands on or hands off. I'm just putting my hands here. Breathing. So not really holding, my hands are just resting there. Breathing, push that left heel up, sink that left hip down, get long. So sometimes doing one side as opposed to trying to do both things at the same time, you really can see the difference in the sides and really pay attention to it, just like you would, you know, with friends or siblings or whatever. is that you can focus in on areas that you might need a little more specificity in. Bend that left knee. Let's bring the right knee right back in. Let's hug both knees into the chest. Big deep breath and roll the ankles. Roll the ankles the other direction. And then let's roll the knees or really roll the hips. Similar to how you did it. Now, if you can go really slow, you can see where your limitations are, as well as if you take your hands off, you notice maybe your feet want to drop in, you keep your pelvis slightly tucked as you lower your feet down and separate. Does your right hip open more than your left or vice versa? 2 more. And then let's go in the other direction. You can hold with your hands or do it with no hands, nice and slow. Remember, it's not about how much speed you can get. So we're not trying to go anywhere. We're trying to find actually the pacing that the body responds to with the most efficiency, but still is giving us information. 2 more times. And then last time. Bring those knees into your chest, give them a nice squeeze. Let's take both arms out. Drop your right foot to the ground. Shift your hips all the way over to your left. Bring the knees back up and drop both knees back to your right side. Breathing, open up the back line of the body. Exhale, sink into the left shoulder as the knees fold to the right. Exhale. You breathe as you just allow the body to rotate through its midline. Inhale, bring your knees up one at a time. You'll probably be off center. Drop your feet. Bring your feet about to center. Leave your left foot on the ground. Take your hips all the way to the right and then drop both knees to the left. Let those arms go wide and open across the mat. Now I'm noticing my right shoulder isn't as deep into the floor as my left. So I'm going to put my left hand on my right knee. I'm going to reach nice and long through my right shoulder. And I'm going to think of really drawing my right shoulder back, not just down, but out and away from my right hip. Breathing. So I'm not just moving from my shoulder, but I'm allowing the rotation to happen around my rib wall. Exhaling, sink into your shoulder. Then release. Gently bring one knee up at a time. Obviously, you'll be a little bit off center. Let's bring everything back in the center. Let's bring those knees back into your chest. Give a nice little squeeze. And then release. Drop one foot at a time. Just shift over so you can roll yourself up. And let's go ahead and sit upright. Now, sitting upright can be slightly challenging because the body wants to tend to go onto top. Go ahead and get one of your blocks, and you're going to put one of your blocks outside your left ankle. And so that you're sitting nice and tall, and you're trying to, what we're going to do, put it on this lower side, is we're going to sit up as tall as we can, but I want you to think of moving slowly to take your left foot up and over, left leg up and over. So placing your hands on the ground, V2 holding, lift that leg up and take it over. And then lift your leg up and take it over. So the less you have to adjust to picking that leg up is better. You can place the block if it's too high on its flatter side, and then just take the block up and bring it over. This is your hip flexors, your quadricep strength working and down. Good. Lift that hip up and over, and then lift that leg up and back. A couple more times. Just sit as tall as you can. If you can do it with no arms, You're gonna feel that quad moving, those hip flexors right here moving up and over and up and back. And one more time, up and over and up and back. Bring the legs back to center, lift up and over. Good. Let me just change positions and let's do it on the other side. Again, you can be up as high as this, so you could be up on the short edge, or the tall side, medium side, or the lower side, depending on what you feel like you have access to. Sitting up as tall as you can place your hands back for stability, and then move your leg up and over. Breathing. So notice if you really kind of move away or kind of height, breathing up and over. This could be quite challenging, or it may feel like nothing. So you're going to move the block to a little higher, a little more challenging position. Up and over, up and back. Two more, up and over, up and back. And last one, up and over, and then up and back. Nice and slow. Good, nice. So we're going to take that block. We're going to do kind of a similar thing. So you know how we do like a 90-90? So sit in your 90-90 position. And you're going to bring that leg from the back all the way towards the front. So you're going to tip into and bring it around. So it's not dragging to the ground. So you're teaching that pelvis to stay high. Lift that leg up. Pull that leg behind you. Good. If you want to bring it closer, that means you're just going to have to lift the hip up higher. So up and in front and up, bend that knee and come back. Again, the more you bring that weight back or that block back, the higher you have to lift the leg and get it over. And then also, if you can stay centered without tipping back, bring your leg up and then around, and then down, and then again up and around and down. Last time here, up and around and down. We're going to come back up and around and down. So that's a lot of work for the rotation of the hip. Great mobilization for the hip. Do it on the other side. So 90-90, start with your leg back. Sitting, if you need to move off, the idea would be that you would stay as close to center as you can. And of course, this is all a work in progress. In some ways, this type of movement is more challenging than strength, because you just get to move through full range of motion on both sides. And you get to accommodate by moving your upper body or lower body and step more. So take that leg up and bring that leg forward. Pick that leg up and pull that leg around so it doesn't move off. Pick that knee up and come forward. Pick that leg up and move that leg around. Two more, just doing 4. Pick that leg up and forward, and the slower you can go, the better. Pick that leg up and back. And last time, pick that leg up and come forward and pick that leg up and come back. Nice. So bring that block here. And let's just do some active movement. So let's come back and go for all 4s. Let's do some knees rocking. Just kind of reopen, rebalance the hips out. Close your mouth. Tummy the roof of your mouth. Eyes focused, not hard, but moving forward, back a little bit. So you're not dumping your head. You can look to the right and to the left. And then we're going to shift back into a downward facing dog. Back. And let's do planks tight. So we move the neck, the torso, shoulders, the hips. Now we're just kind of moving them more symmetrically. One more time. And let's lower ourselves. All right. So we're going to move toward the upper body. Bring your block out in front if you have a block. And the neck is long. Lower the head to the mat and just lift up as high as you can. And notice if you can take your hands off the mat, lower back down and lift back up, lower back down and lift up. Now try not to push into your belly. So it's not your belly that's pressing you up. It's your back that's extending. 2 more. Pull up, bring your hands up. Breathe. Good, and then a little bit. All right, take that block. You're gonna place it and get 2. That's awesome. You've got your blocks either side of you. And you're gonna have your hands down, and then you're gonna slide your arms forward. So the block is just giving you a place to make sure that you're not dropping. The lower down for that stretching your chest. Lift yourself up and reach those arms out. Pull your elbows in and reach your arms out. Now, if your neck and shoulders are getting tight and sore, take more time to rest in between. We tend to look down a lot. We have back flexion overuse, more so than extension, especially our upper back. 2 more. And last one. And then back. Good. Get those blocks out of the way. Let's just bring ourselves up into a Sphinx position. Lift the chin, lift the chest, tuck the chin, lift the chin, and tuck the chin. One more time. Inhale, lift the chin up and tuck the chin. Bring the head up. Look over the right shoulder. Look over the left. Notice my shoulders slightly moving with me. So I'm kind of shifting into my right as I look right. And I'm shifting away from my right into my left. One more time. Look up and over. All right. So let's take one block out in front. You're going to start and bring your hand down by your side. You're going to lift up your hand, roll your shoulder, and bring it out in front. Should be relatively easy. Just the block is there to keep you from knocking it. Lift the arm up. Take the arm as you pass the block. Then you turn the palm back towards the sky and bring your hand to the ground. And again, lift the palm up as high as you can. Roll the shoulder as you pass the block and down. Lift the arm up. Roll the shoulder as you pass the block to your foot. Again, up. Roll the shoulder and down. Up. Roll the shoulder and back. One more time. Up. Roll the shoulder. See and knock it as it gets tired. Let's do that one more time. Up. Everyone wants to end in a high note. Roll the shoulder and down. Finishing up above. Up. Roll the shoulder and back down. All right, let's take that block to the other side. Same idea. Keep the block on the tall end if you can. Arms are out in front. Take your left arm up. Go back and roll the shoulder until your palm comes up next to your left side. Palm lifts up as high as you can. Turn the palm as you pass the block. See if you can keep that space around the block. Palm is up. Roll the shoulder. Arm comes forward. Arm goes up. Roll the shoulder and back. 2 more. Lift your arm up. Roll that shoulder and up. Roll the shoulder back. Last time here, lift your arm up, roll the shoulder, come forward. Head down, chin in, just rest the neck. And let's take that block out of it. While we're here on our back, on our front, let's lift the right leg and roll to the front of the shoulder. Open up the chest, the back spiral line, and then roll back. And then pick up your left foot and roll to your right. Lift that left foot back down. As you roll, pick that leg up. Don't just let the knees stay down. See if you can pick that knee up more and open the hip. And then back down. Look over the shoulder of the leg you're moving. And back down. And again, look over that shoulder. Lift that knee up. And back down. Arms stay low. Lift that knee up. Take that leg over. And back down. Good. Hands underneath the shoulders. Walk the elbows back. Let's sit into a nice long child's pose. And then let's hinge forward, go forward, round the back, chin towards the sternum. Lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Round the back. One more time. Lift the tailbone, lift the chest, curl the toes. So downward facing dog. Nice and long. Your shoulders actually, even though we mobilize them, they become more stable. No more blood flow in them. Breathe. So you can get long in those calves and the back of the leg. Still lifting that tailbone nice and high. And then up on the toes, bend the knees, step or walk up to the hands. And let's once again, let's sit back on our back. Body's nice and tall, chest is lifted. Feet are out in the front. And go ahead and roll back onto your back. Nice and tall. Separate those feet about mat's width. Drop your knees to the right and to the left. Breathing. Let the inside leg come up first and let the outside of the trail if you can. One more time each side. And then pause and just relax there for a second. Feel your back drop into the ground a little bit. Please close your eyes. Breath in. And exhale. Okay, let's roll to your right or to your left. From the left your blocks back towards the top of your mat. Let's make a T out of your blocks. Now, if you don't have two blocks, hopefully you have your roller. You want to have your one block going lengthwise down the center of the mat, and the other block up towards the top, about 4 inches or so away, kind of the length of your neck, going horizontally. And the key is to get the block just at the base of the hip, right between the shoulder blades, and then adjust the head as necessary. You don't want the head too far back here or hanging, so you have a lot of space here. And if it's pinchy on the middle of your back, you're probably in the wrong spot. Because really, overall, this should be relatively comfortable. Your shoulders should be open and drawn back. And your knees and hips should just be kind of rising out of the bottom of the body. Take those knees out to a reclined cobbler. You can extend the legs if you like, or keep the knees bent. Big deep breath. So we did some upper back extension. Now we're in extension, but we're opening up the chest more so than focusing on the back. So even though the upper back is an extension, the chest is also an extension. So from here, take your arms to an H kind of a position, right arm and left arm, and then reach overhead. At some point, you're going to find a lot of stretch underneath your armpit. And then bend the elbows. Again, trying to let the elbows touch the ground. Try not to let the fingers tip back. So the palms are level. So the fingers aren't pointing towards the ground. You want to keep those fingers almost like they're cupped. If the fingers are pointing back, then there's usually tension in the back line of the body. So you want to try to mitigate that by bringing the arms a little bit higher. If you can get your arms a little bit lower and still keep the forearms very lined up with the wrist and elbow, that's great. Breathing up, overhead, and back down. 2 more, reach up, overhead, and back down. And last time, reach up and overhead, hold, and now sweep down, both arms. Thumbs go over your head. Circle around, arms don't touch the ground, so we're not going that low. And see if there's any tenderness, keep your arms in high. My arms are just below my eye. Take those arms up, over your head, and down. Good, I'm just going to do one arm, just my right arm going up. Roll down to the side. Pinky this time, up and over. Roll almost like a backstroke. Reach up and over and pull down to your side. One more time, pinky goes up first and then rolls around. To the other side, right hand down, pressing down. Thumb can go over your head first and then roll around. And again, thumb over your head and roll. This time, pinky goes over your head. Roll the thumb down. Pinky goes up high over your head. Changes the whole picture on that shoulder. You can find like, oh, that's where I'm going to step. And around. So as you're going, you notice the tension, some tension forward and cracking. In that position, over the thumb up position, you know that the underlying side, so that's the lat side and your triceps, are a little bit weaker than they need to be, or tight than they need to be. One more time, all the way up and around. Pinky leads, reach, and then around. A nice long deep breath in again. The palms are up or down, you choose. And then release. Slide those feet in if they are straight. Just roll to one side. Take the blocks out from underneath you and the blocks to the ground. Place the blocks just below your backside. And let's just finish in with a nice easy rest posture. The nice thing about the weight underneath the legs is it brings everything up, kind of shores up that lower back without trying too hard to bring it back into neutral. As well as it keeps the legs from pulling too. They are weighted. Needs a nice long, slow breaths. Say the most challenging part of resting is getting into that position where you don't feel like you still need to fidget. Letting go of what you might think every part needs to be like and just noticing what's going on. And then as the body softens, you'll find the space to move into. You won't need it and wiggle your way through there. You'll be like, oh, all I have to do is just move my middle back, get some length there, and then your body will settle. And as you get practiced at it, as you learn to listen to what the body really wants in that moment, then you're able to kind of feel just the simpler motions instead of trying the complexity of like really readjusting everything. Really a deeper settling. Begin to deepen your breath. Slide your feet in so your shins are vertical. Move those blocks as necessary. Roll to one side, just lay on your right or left side for a moment. And use your top hand to bring yourself up. And let's sit up tall. You can sit on your block if you want, or you can just sit in a comfortable seated position. Lengthen through the crown of your head, sit back through the middle of your pelvis. Let your chin drop to your sternum. Inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest. Take the hands behind you, drop them to the feet. Start the pelvis slightly forward. And roll forward. Let's bring the hands out in front. Let the head drop, let the chin come in. Roll yourself up. Take your arms up and overhead reach. And then lower. Lower your right hand to your left arm up. And then lower your left hand. Take your right arm up. Watch the shoulder. And then come to center. Both arms come up. And lower. Very well. Thank you, ladies. All right. Oh, nope, didn't come off record. Sorry, one more time.